It is the night of your 35th birthday. The plates are in the sink. The last guest left an hour ago. The candles are back in the drawer, the wax still soft, the smell of them still hanging in the room. You are sitting on the edge of the bed in the dark, and for some reason, you open the app. Not your messages, the other one, the one with your retirement balance on it. You already know the number. You have known it for years. But tonight you look at it the way you'd look at an x-ray of your own chest. $4,000. Maybe 7. Maybe a flat 0 with an old 401k you rolled over once and forgot. Whatever it is, it does not move. It just sits there, small and still, on the screen of a phone that cost more than half of it. You wait to feel panic. The panic doesn't come. What comes instead is quieter. It's arithmetic. You are 35 years old, and for the first time, the math is no longer abstract. It has a face now. Yours. Here is the first thing nobody says out loud. You are not behind because something is wrong with you. You are behind because you are average. The median American household, headed by someone in their early 30s, has about $4,700 in a retirement account. Not 400,000, 4,000. And nearly half of all households in this country have nothing in a retirement account at all. $0. No 401k, no IRA, no pension waiting in the dark. So when you sit on that bed and feel like you failed a test everyone else passed, understand the shape of the room you're in. Most of the people who waved goodbye at your party tonight are sitting on the same number. They just don't open the app. You did. That's the only difference so far. It's a bigger one than it looks. Pull the picture wider and it doesn't get gentler. It gets stranger. That same median household in its early 30s carries a total net worth somewhere around $90,000, and almost none of it is the kind that compounds. It's a car that's worth less every morning you walk past it. A little equity in a place you might not keep. A few thousand in checking that gets spent and refilled and spent again, the same tide every 2 weeks. The one box in the whole picture that grows on its own, the retirement account, the one thing that turns time into money without you lifting a finger, is the smallest box you own. You're not poor. You have things. You just don't have anything working. Everything you possess needs you awake and earning to stay where it is. But there's someone else in this story. He isn't real. He never existed. And yet, the math knows exactly where he is standing right now, down to the dollar. He is the version of you who started at 25. Same job, same salary, same apartment. The only difference is that 10 years ago, he set up an automatic transfer. $500 a month into a plain index fund. He didn't time the market. He didn't pick stocks. He just let it pull from his account on the first of every month while he forgot it existed. You are going to meet him at every age for the rest of this. And the first thing he teaches you is what those 10 years were actually worth. He stopped at 35. Listen to that carefully because it's the cruelest part. The ghost put in $500 a month for exactly 10 years, from 25 to 35. $60,000 total. Then he never contributed another cent. Not one. He let it sit, untouched, growing at the long-run market average of about 7% a year, all the way to 65. That $60,000 becomes $702,000. Now here's you. You start tonight at 35. You put in the same $500 a month and you are more disciplined than he ever was because you do it for 30 straight years, all the way to 65. You contribute $180,000 of your own money, 3 times what he put in. You end with $610,000. Read those two numbers next to each other. The ghost put in $60,000 and walked away with $702,000. You put in $180,000 and walked away with $610,000. He contributed $120,000 less than you, and he beats you by 92,000. He wins by never showing up again because he showed up first. That is what the decade between 25 and 35 was worth. Not the money you didn't save, the decades of growth that money never got to have. A dollar planted at 25 compounds on top of its own compounding for 40 years. A dollar planted at 35 only gets 30. Those missing 10 years sat at the very bottom of the stack, holding up everything above them. You took them out. And here is the part that should land somewhere under the ribs. You didn't lose that money in a crash. Nobody stole it. There was no single Tuesday where it vanished. You spent it. In pieces so small you cannot remember a single one. $60,000 across 10 years is $500 a month. And $500 a month is nothing you'd ever notice. It's the dinners out you don't remember eating, the subscriptions that renewed in the dark, the car that was a little nicer than it needed to be, the flights, the rounds of drinks, the upgrades, the convenience tax on 100 ordinary days. None of it ever felt like a decision. That's the whole problem. The most expensive thing you ever did was 1,000 things that each felt like nothing. The ghost felt the same temptations. He just routed $500 past himself before he could reach it. He didn't have more willpower than you. He had one transfer set up on a Tuesday in his 20s, and then a decade of forgetting it was there. Picture one of those small pieces. A Friday 4 years ago. You and 3 friends at a place with a tasting menu and a wine list someone else chose. The night cost $200, and it was worth it. You laughed until midnight, and you'd do it again tomorrow. Now picture that exact $200 sitting in the account instead, planted at 31, left alone for 34 years. At 65, it would be worth roughly $2,000. One dinner. That's the exchange rate nobody reads you at the table. Every dollar you spend in your early 30s is quietly spending about $10 of your 60s. You weren't reckless. You just kept paying retail for your present with your future, at a markup that never printed on a single receipt. So here you are at 35, in the dark, holding the smaller number. And there are only 2 paths out of this room. The first path is the one most of the people at your party will take without ever deciding to. You close the app. You tell yourself you'll start when you make more, when the raise comes, when the car is paid off, when things settle down. Things never settle down. The number stays where it is. If you do that, here is where you land. At 65, you have what the government gives you and nothing else. The average Social Security check for a retired worker is about $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. That is the floor the country slides under you. And for tens of millions of people, it is the entire structure. Not a floor under a house, just the floor. And don't comfort yourself with the idea that you'll quietly figure it out in your 50s, the way you assume everyone else does. Look at where everyone else actually is. The median household headed by someone in their late 50s, a few short years from retirement, has about $24,500 in retirement accounts. That's the whole account. That's the typical American walking up to the edge of the thing, doing the exact arithmetic you're doing tonight, except with no decades left to fix the answer. The 50s don't rescue the 30s. They inherit them. And every year you stand in this room deciding, it costs you. Wait one more year. Start at 36 instead of tonight. And that single year of delay quietly removes about $47,000 from your account at 65. 1 year, $47,000. The ghost is teaching you his last and most important lesson. The most expensive word in this entire equation is later. The second path starts the same way his did, quietly, tonight. You set up the transfer, $500 a month. You don't feel anything change because nothing visible does. The apartment is the same. The car is the same. For the first few years, the number barely seems to move. And that is exactly the stretch where most people quit, standing at the bottom of a curve that hasn't started to bend yet. At 45, 10 years in, you have about $86,000. It feels slow. It feels like it will never be enough. Keep watching. But something has changed that isn't on the screen. You are now a person with $86,000 that the ordinary disasters can't reach. The flat tire stops being a crisis. The bad month stops ending at a payday lender's window. You don't have wealth yet. You have a floor of your own, laid underneath the government's, and standing on something you built changes the way you walk into every room. At 55, 20 years in, you have about $260,000. Notice what happened. You only put in twice as much time, but you have 3 times the money. The curve started to bend. The growth is no longer mostly your deposits. The account is earning on itself now, throwing off gains larger than the $500 you add. And somewhere across those 30 years, 3 or 4 separate times, the screen turns red. A crash takes a third of it in a single season. The headlines swear it's different this time. Your account hands back 2 years of gains in 2 months. And every nerve in your body tells you to stop the transfer and rescue what's left. This is the moment the whole thing is actually decided. Not tonight, on the edge of the bed. There, in the red. The ghost lived through every one of those crashes too. His $700,000 exists because he did nothing while the screen bled. Because the $500 kept pulling on the first of the month, buying more shares at lower prices while the people around him sold in fear and called it caution. The market doesn't pay out to the smartest person in the room. It pays the one who doesn't flinch and doesn't touch it. At 65, 30 years in, you have $610,000. From $500 a month and a single decision made on the worst feeling night of your 30s. But you don't have to start at 35 and freeze your life there. You're 35, not finished. Your income is supposed to climb from here, and the math rewards every extra dollar you feed it. Run the same 30 years at $1,000 a month instead of $500, and you end with about $1,200,000. Lay that against the ghost who saved his entire life. He finished around $1,300,000. By doubling your monthly amount over those 30 years, you come within a breath of catching the man who started a full decade ahead of you. You cannot buy the decade back, but you can almost outsave it if your income grows and you aim the growth at the account instead of at a bigger life. And the system, for once, is built to help the latecomer specifically. In a 401k, you can put in $24,500 a year. Once you turn 50, the rules let you add $8,000 more on top of that. And in the years you turn 60 through 63, there's a super catch-up that lets you stack more than $11,000 beyond the normal limit. These provisions exist for exactly one reason. The people who write the rules know that most people arrive at this, where you are sitting right now, late. And they cut a wider door near the end for the ones still walking through it. But the lever was never really the $500. It was the direction. Most people's incomes climb across their 40s, and the lifestyle climbs in perfect step, dollar for dollar. So the raise vanishes the same week it lands, and nothing is ever left over to compound. The version of you who wins doesn't have to earn more than the version who loses. He just lets the lifestyle lag the income by a year or two, on purpose, and feeds the gap to the account every time the paycheck grows. That space between what you bring in and what you spend is the only raw material compounding has ever had to work with. Widen it, even a little, and the whole second path runs faster. So go all the way to 65 on the second path and stand in front of the $610,000. There's a rule planners have leaned on for 30 years. You can withdraw about 4% of a portfolio in your first year of retirement and reasonably expect it to last. 4% of $610,000 is roughly $24,400 a year, about $2,000 a month. Now, lay that beside the other path. Social Security alone was about $2,000 a month. With the account, you have your own $2,000 on top of it. You didn't get rich, you doubled your income in retirement. You turned $24,000 a year into something close to $48,000, and you did it from a starting point of nearly nothing, in the dark, at 35. Be honest about the gap, because the ghost is still standing there. He has $700,000 more than you do. That distance is real, and nothing you do at 35 erases it. That is the full price of the decade, paid out, no refund. But look at where you're standing now against where you'd be on the first path. The gap between you and the ghost is a fact you can live beside. The gap between starting and not starting is the one that decides what your 70s look like. Go back to the bed, the night of your 35th birthday. The plates in the sink, the smell of the candles still in the room, the small, still number on the screen. There are two versions of you holding that phone right now. One of them looks at the number, feels the tiredness, closes the app, and tells himself he'll deal with it when life calms down. You already know where that one is at 65. You met him. The other one looks at the same number, the same small number, and instead of closing the app, he opens a different screen and sets up one transfer. $500, the first of the month, automatic, easy to forget. Nothing in the room changes. He goes to sleep at the same hour, in the same apartment, 35 years old with almost nothing saved. But the math changed the second his thumb came off the screen. Somewhere 30 years down the line, there's a morning where his phone buzzes with money he didn't work for that day. And he won't remember this night, and he won't need to. The decision was already made, quietly, in the dark, on the worst feeling birthday of his life. You can't get the 10 years back. Nobody can. But the second most valuable decade of your life is the one starting tonight, and it's the only one you still own. If this is the kind of money math you'd rather see 10 years early than 10 years late, subscribe. This channel runs the numbers most people only run when it's already behind them, slowly and honestly, in the dark, before the lights ever come on.